Every animal on Earth is a prisoner of its own genes. A chimp can never vote out its king. But one ape learned to rewrite its own rules without changing a single gene. Last time, we raised a ghost, a company with no body, conjured out of thin air. Gods, nations, money, companies. We called them shared fictions. But that word, fiction, makes them sound like simple lies. They are not. And telling the difference is the key to everything that comes next. First, what exactly is an honest, ordinary lie? Even animals have mastered this little trick. A lie is shouting, "There is a lion by the river," when you know there is none. Even monkeys can pull this off. Scientists once watched a monkey scream a false alarm. "A lion is coming!" There was no lion at all, but a neighbor had just found a banana. The neighbor bolted in fear, and the little trickster stole the prize. That is a lie, one animal fooling another about the real world.
An imagined reality is something else entirely. It is not a trick played on others. It is something everyone agrees to believe. And as long as the belief holds, it carries true power in the world. Nobody is lying, and yet none of it is really out there. When the world demands a nation respect human rights, no one is lying. Yet nations, and rights themselves, live only in our shared imagination.
So, ever since we learned to speak of fictions, we live in two worlds at once. One world of rivers, trees, and lions, solid, touchable. And one world of gods, nations, and companies, invisible, imagined. Over time, the invisible world grew stronger than the solid one. Today, it is the imagined world that quietly steers the real one. And this strange power bought Sapiens an almost magical gift. To see it, look at every other animal on Earth. Each one of them is, in a quiet way, a prisoner of its own genes. Chimpanzees live under a single strong male, the alpha. Their close cousins, the bonobos, are ruled by alliances of females. Neither of them can simply gather and vote to change the rules.
To change their ways, the animal itself must physically change. Their behavior can only shift if their very DNA mutates. And that is painfully, painfully slow. Meet Homo erectus, an ancient cousin of ours. He invented one clever stone tool and used the exact same design for nearly 2 million years.
2 million years, and barely a single change. Our own ancient ancestors were caught in the very same trap. Every new tool, every new idea, had to wait on a lucky mutation. So change crawled forward over hundreds of thousands of years. Then, one ape did something no animal had ever done. Sapiens learned to change its behavior in years, not in eons. And to hand brand new ways of living straight to its children, not through genes, through stories. Change the story, and you change the whole society, fast. In 1789, France showed the world just how fast. Almost overnight, they stopped believing kings ruled by the will of God and began to believe that all power belonged to the people.
No gene had changed. Only the shared story did. Now picture a man born in Berlin in the year 1900. As a child, he lived under a mighty emperor. As a young man, under a fragile new republic. Then under a dark and brutal dictatorship. Then walled inside a gray and silent communist state. And at last, in a free and united democracy. 5 completely different worlds in one single lifetime. And through every one of them, his DNA never changed at all. This is the true secret of our success. Stories can even push us against the deepest law of life itself. Every living thing is driven to pass on its genes. The alpha chimp uses his throne to father as many young as he possibly can. Yet think of a Catholic priest. He takes a solemn vow to have no children at all. Not from hunger, not from a shortage of partners, not from any mutation. He passes on no genes. he passes on a story instead. The church has run this way for centuries, on words alone. Words, it turns out, can overrule biology. No other creature on Earth can do this. They are bound forever to the slow rhythm of their genes. Sapiens alone slipped the leash. We can rewrite who we are without waiting for evolution. A clumsy ape became the fastest changing thing on the entire planet. All thanks to the power of a shared, imagined story. But this gift would do far more than reshape our own little tribes. It was about to decide a war between two different kinds of human. On one side, a stronger, tougher cousin. On the other, a weaker ape who could tell stories. And the storyteller was about to win it all. We have seen the gift the cognitive revolution gave us. The power to believe together and to change together. While every other animal stayed frozen in its ancient role, we learned to swap our worlds the way we swap our clothes. A king one day, a citizen the next, without changing our blood. This is how a single species outran 1,000,000 years of evolution. But raw imagination alone does not fill a hungry belly. Stories still had to become real meat, real tools, real trade. Next time, this magic comes face to face with the mighty Neanderthal, and we follow a single seashell that traveled an utterly impossible distance. So, a clumsy, weaker ape became the fastest changing thing alive. Not by growing stronger, but by learning to rewrite its own story, while every other animal stayed locked inside its genes. Think about that for a moment. A chimpanzee today behaves almost exactly like a chimpanzee 100,000 years ago. But us, we can be kings one year and citizens the next, hunters one century and astronauts the next, all with the very same blood, the very same body. No new gene required, just a new story told well enough that enough people believe it. That is the quiet superpower hiding behind every revolution, every religion, every empire you have ever heard of. But imagination has to do more than reshuffle a tribe. It has to win real battles in the real world against real rivals. Next time, this strange magic comes face to face with the mighty Neanderthal, a creature stronger than us in almost every way. And we follow a single seashell that traveled a distance that should have been completely impossible. If this changed how you see yourself even a little, share it with one curious friend, and I will see you in the next episode.